Please subscribe to my channel for more heartfelt stories. We're returning to our classic holiday feast. I glanced up from the sugar cookies I was icing. Ones I'd poured hours into crafting for the family gathering, I was now being excluded from. My name's Emma, and at 34, I've been wed to her son, James, for 5 years. Every Christmas since our marriage, I've thrown the family dinner, turning our home into a festive haven that even Margaret, my mother-in-law, reluctantly admired. I don't get it, I said, keeping my tone even. I've hosted Christmas for the last 5 years. Margaret's flawlessly lined lips curled into a smile that never touched her eyes. Yes, and it's been unique. But this year, with Thomas's new baby, we're keeping it small. Just family. Thomas, James's brother, and his wife Jessica had just welcomed their first child. Jessica, another in-law, was apparently invited. The difference wasn't lost on me. Jessica's attending? I asked, already sensing the answer. Naturally, Margaret said with a dismissive wave. She's special. She's the mother of my first grandchild. The unspoken truth hit hard. Until I gave her a grandchild, I wasn't truly family. Never mind that James and I had been trying for 3 years, grappling with fertility struggles Margaret brushed off as mere excuses. I understand, I said softly, setting down the icing bag. And James is aware of this? Oh, he gets it. Family traditions matter, she replied, grazing one of my cookies and leaving a pristine manicured mark on my careful work. These are a tad childish, don't you think? Jessica's enrolled in a professional baking class. I inhaled deeply, recalling that the recipe came from my grandmother, one I'd used every Christmas since I could reach the kitchen counter. The same cookies James said evoke memories of his own grandmother's baking. Well then, I said with a calm smile that surprised even me, thanks for letting me know. Margaret blinked, caught off guard by my lack of resistance. She'd come ready for a battle, armed with her arsenal of subtle barbs honed over years. That's it, she asked, suspicion lacing her tone. Of course, I replied. Your call. Family only. I respect that. She lingered, perhaps expecting tears or begging, but I just went back to my cookies, humming Silent Night, softly. Finally, she grabbed her designer purse and headed out. Dinner's at 6 on Christmas Eve, she tossed over her shoulder. I'll tell James to bring that sweet potato dish you usually make. Jessica found a better recipe, though. Once she left, I sat at my kitchen counter, staring at the cookies I'd spent all morning perfecting. 5 years of striving for Margaret's approval, hosting flawless dinners, enduring her veiled insults and jabs about my childlessness. I picked up my phone and dialed my best friend, Sophia. She did what? Sophia gasped after I recounted the situation. Uninvited me from Christmas. Family only, I repeated, surprised by my steady voice. That woman. What did James say? He's at a conference until tomorrow. She timed her visit perfectly. You have to tell him. I glanced around my kitchen at the boxes of Christmas decorations I'd pulled out that morning, at the detailed menu I'd already planned. No, I said slowly, an idea taking shape. I don't think I will. I've got a better idea. Emma, Sophia's voice carried a hint of worry. What's your plan? Remember that community center you volunteer at? The one hosting Christmas dinner for families in need. Yeah, they serve about 100 people, but they're always short on food and help. Why? I eyed my meticulously decorated cookies, my detailed menu, the decorations ready to transform my home. Because this year, they're getting the best Christmas dinner they've ever had. And I'll need your help. I'm all ears, Sophia said, her smile audible. First, we need to make some calls. I know exactly how to use my Christmas dinner budget this year. As I shared my plan with Sophia, a weight lifted, lighter than I'd felt in years. Margaret wanted a family-only Christmas. Fine. But she was about to learn that family isn't always about blood. It's about who you invite to your table. The next few days would be hectic, but for the first time since Margaret's visit, I was genuinely excited for Christmas. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about settling scores, it's about rising above. One more thing, I told Sophia before hanging up. Keep Christmas Eve free. We'll need everyone on board. I'm in, she replied. And Emma, she's going to regret this. Oh, yes, I said, glancing at my grandmother's cookie recipe. She will. The week flew by in a flurry of preparations. While Margaret posted daily updates about her traditional family Christmas on social media, I was quietly organizing something far grander. James came back from his conference and, as expected, relayed Margaret's version of events. "Mom says you're fine skipping Christmas this year," he said cautiously, watching me dice vegetables in the kitchen. "She mentioned you had other plans." I smiled, keeping my voice light. "Oh, yeah, I'm helping with the community dinner. Don't worry about me." He looked puzzled, likely expecting the hurt or anger Margaret had probably predicted. "You sure? I can talk to her." "Completely sure," I said, leaning up to kiss his cheek. "Your mom wants a traditional family Christmas. I respect that." Over the next few days, James grew visibly uneasy with my cheerful acceptance. He'd come home to find me baking batches of cookies, prepping freezer meals, or coordinating with Sophia. Each time he asked if I was okay, I assured him I was more than fine. The community center was overjoyed with my offer to help. When I said I'd bring enough food for 100 people, plus decorations and gifts, the coordinator nearly wept. "We usually scrape by with the basics," she said. "This is a Christmas miracle." What Margaret didn't know was that I'd saved all year for our Christmas dinner, planning to make it extra special. Now, instead of spending it on her unappreciative family, every cent would make Christmas unforgettable for people who truly value it. Sophia and I spent days transforming the community center. We strung up twinkling lights, set up Christmas trees, and crafted centerpieces for every table. My grandmother's cookie recipe was scaled up tenfold, and the freezer brimmed with casseroles and sides. 3 days before Christmas Eve, Margaret called. "James says you're working at some soup kitchen," she said, her tone dripping with disdain. "Really, Emma? No need to be so dramatic. If you want to come to dinner, just ask." I stirred a pot of homemade hot cocoa, smiling at her transparent attempt to make me plead. "Thanks, Margaret, but I'm thrilled about my plans. The community dinner will be amazing." "Community dinner," she scoffed. "Serving strangers instead of family? What will people think?" "They'll think I'm doing what Christmas is about, spreading joy." Her silence was gratifying. Finally, she spoke, her voice tight. "Well, enjoy your charity work. We'll have a proper family celebration." "I'm sure you will," I replied brightly. "Oh, and don't worry about James bringing the sweet potato casserole. Jessica's new recipe probably won't pair well with frozen turkey anyway." Before she could retort, I hung up, feeling lighter than ever. Christmas Eve dawned crisp and bright. While Margaret prepped her perfect family dinner, Sophia and I were at the community center early, adding final touches. The space looked enchanting, twinkling lights everywhere, tables adorned with linens and pine centerpieces, a towering tree surrounded by wrapped gifts for the kids. The kitchen smelled divine, with my grandmother's cookies on festive platters, hot cocoa simmering in urns, and buffet tables groaning with homemade dishes, all crafted with care. By 5:30, families began arriving, their faces lighting up at the sight. The children's squeals over the tree and gifts, the parents' tearful thanks. It made every second of work worthwhile. "This is better than any restaurant," one mother whispered, clutching her daughter's hand. "We haven't had a real Christmas dinner in years." "You're having one tonight," I said, handing her a plate. "All homemade." By 6 o'clock, the room buzzed with laughter, chatter, and a warmth no proper family gathering could rival. As I served cocoa, my phone buzzed with a text from James. "Where are you?" "Mom's dinner is a mess. Jessica's recipe burned, and the store-bought turkey's still frozen. Everyone's fighting." I glanced at the joyful faces, kids decorating cookies at Sophia's craft table, families sharing a meal free of judgment. "I'm exactly where I need to be," I texted back, attaching a photo of the dazzling community center. "Having the best Christmas Eve ever." My phone lit up with calls from James and Margaret, but I silenced it. They could wait. Right now, I had cookies to share and carols to sing with my new extended family, one that didn't care about blood ties, grandchildren, or flawless recipes. Watching a young girl carefully ice a cookie with my grandmother's recipe, I realized something profound. Sometimes, the family you choose outshines the one you're born into. And sometimes being left out of one table inspires you to build a bigger, better one of your own. The ripple effects of that Christmas Eve carried on. By midnight, my phone had over 30 missed calls, mostly from Margaret, several from James, and even a few from Jessica, apparently horrified by her cooking flop. I finally answered James as I helped clean the community center, the evening's joy still warming me as kids left with gifts and parents thanked us with tears. "Emma," James said, his voice a mix of awe and remorse, "those photos you sent, did you pull all that off?" "Yes," I said simply, watching Sophia pack leftover cookies for volunteers. "This is what I did with our Christmas budget instead of hosting your mom's perfect dinner." "It's incredible," he said, pausing. "Mom's dinner was awful. Everyone left early. She's furious." "I bet," I replied, feeling no pity. "How's Jessica's recipe book going?" He gave a shaky laugh. "Everything burned. We ordered Chinese, but most places were closed. Mom's still crying about her ruined family Christmas." I thought of the families who just left, many saying it was their first real Christmas in years. Sometimes traditions need to evolve, James. Sometimes we need to see what really matters. The next morning, Christmas Day, I woke to find James at our kitchen counter, reading thank you notes from the community center families, some scrawled in childish handwriting and dusted with glitter. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked softly. "About Mom uninviting you about all this." I poured coffee, taking my time. "Because you needed to see your mother's true colors without me spelling it out. And I needed to prove something to myself." "What's that?" "That I don't need her approval to belong to a family. That I can create something beautiful and meaningful without her permission." He nodded, picking up a glittery card. "You did that. These people will remember this Christmas forever." "So will your mother," I said, a hint of satisfaction in my voice. Right on cue, the doorbell rang. There was Margaret, looking less polished, her eyes red, her designer outfit slightly rumpled. "The newspaper," she said, thrusting it at me. "Have you seen it?" I hadn't, but there on the front page was a photo of our community dinner. Lights twinkling, faces beaming. The headline read, "Local woman creates Christmas miracle for hundreds of families." "They interviewed me last night," I said, skimming the article. "They even included my grandmother's cookie recipe." Margaret's face reddened. "You did this to embarrass me." "No, Margaret," I said gently. "I did this because you showed me what family really means. It's not about blood or tradition or perfect recipes. It's about love, acceptance, and opening your table to others." She opened her mouth, but James cut in. "Enough, Mom. You excluded Emma because she hasn't given you a grandchild. You favored Jessica because she did. But look what Emma created while you planned your perfect dinner. She made Christmas magical for 100 families." Margaret's lips quivered. "I just wanted a traditional family Christmas." "And how'd that go?" I asked, not unkindly. "While you served frozen turkey and burnt casserole to your real family, I shared my grandmother's recipes with people who cherish them. Family grows when you open your heart, not when you shut others out." The silence was heavy with truth. Finally, Margaret spoke, her voice faint. "The article says you're doing it again next year." "Yes," I nodded. "The community center already asked." "Word spreading, so we might need to plan for even more families." She clutched her purse tightly. "Maybe I could help. I do know a bit about event planning." I exchanged a glance with James, seeing hope in his eyes. "We could use the help," I said cautiously. "But everyone's welcome at that dinner. Everyone's family." Margaret nodded, grasping the deeper meaning. As she left, I turned to James. "Think she's learned her lesson?" He pulled me close, kissing my forehead. "If she hasn't, she will. You've shown everyone what Christmas is really about." That evening, as we delivered leftover cookies to neighbors, my phone pinged with a message from Margaret, a photo of her pristine Christmas tree, and a caption. "Next year, will you teach me your grandmother's cookie recipe? I want to learn how to make Christmas magical too." I smiled, replying, "Of course. That's what family does." Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about showing a better way. Margaret tried to cut me out of her family, but in doing so, she helped me build something far more meaningful. A celebration where everyone was welcome, where family was defined by love, not blood. And that was the greatest Christmas gift of all.